As 2025 comes to a close, I've been exploring something. What are my favourite films of the last 25 years? So, through countless hours of rewatching and debating myself constantly, it's time to continue down that list as I reveal places 15 through 10. And for those who are new just tuning in, let me give you a quick recap of the rules. There are only two. Rule 1, I can only have one film from any specific director. So Paul Thomas Anderson, sorry my guy, you're only getting one film on this list. And rule 2, these are my favourite 25 films. So not just the most technically perfect, that's a completely different list, but these films also invoke nostalgia, rewatchability, meant something to me within my life since the year 2000. Okay, so let's get into it. In 15th place, I have There Will Be Blood by the great Paul Thomas Anderson. There Will Be Blood is the one that sits atop the turn of the century oil mining films for me, because beyond the narrative that exists for the time period, that's been explored really well and in a lot of different films. I feel that PTA does the best job of exploring the grittiness and the grunge of the moment the best on screen. And by that I mean the shots and the grand scale of some of the moments balanced with the dark and personal close-ups of some of the dialogue-heavy scenes laces this film with so much character, and it's why I think it's PTA's best work. It's truly all-round a remarkable cinema and piece of work. And I think there's a clear reason why it won the Best Cinematography Oscar at the 2008 Oscars. However, the reason this film elevates so high up the list for me is within the performances that we get, namely Daniel Day-Lewis as Daniel Plainview. To me, this is the best performance of the century, bar none. And beyond just Daniel Day-Lewis being remarkable in a solo sense, one of the things that really stands out in this movie is that Paul Dano steps up to the plate, and we get some really incredible scenes with the two of them acting off each other so well. There are so many standout scenes with so much rewatchability in them. I mean, to this day I still go back and rewatch the milkshake scene as well as the church scene whenever it pops up in my YouTube feed. But to me, the scene that I'll always remember, and I think is one of the masterpieces of this film, is when Daniel Plainview is sitting outside with his supposed brother at the time, and we see the first real honest reflection of Plainview in the whole film. And he opens up and he delivers with a devastating stare across to him the quote, "I have a competition in me. I want no one else to succeed. I hate most people." He then follows it up by saying, "I look at people and I see nothing worth liking." To me, this is the key scene to understanding who Daniel Plainview is. He's devoid of emotion. He's cutthroat. He's detached from society. He just wants to beat everyone. He's nasty. He's got this evil grunt in him, and it's so encapsulated within this scene, and it's beautiful and scary at the same time, and has always left a lasting impression on me. So yeah, it's an incredible film. But I do want to leave you with one question. Which do you think is better? The church scene or the milkshake scene? I say milkshake.
Went to Kansas. I couldn't stay there. Just couldn't. I don't like to explain myself. Are you an angry man, Henry?
About what?
Are you envious? Do you get envious?
I don't think so, no.
I have a competition in me. I want no one else to succeed. I hate most people.
That part of me is gone. Working and not succeeding. All my failures has left me. I just don't care.
In 14th place, I have Anatomy of a Fall by Justine Triet. Anatomy of a Fall was such an unexpected gem, and to me the brilliance of this film can be summed up by asking one question. How do you innovate the whodunit murder mystery in a saturated market? To me, this was the answer to that. I love this film, and I continue to keep revisiting Anatomy for its complexity, for its craft, and for the fact that it can be interpreted in so many different ways. That to me is the brilliance of this film, because based on your mood and your perception at the time, whether she committed the murder or not will change. And also, I think that that's what keeps it so fresh. You know, I've got to commend Justine. I really love the way this film is directed. I love the set design. It's fresh and simple, yet it has everything you need to keep you gripped. This is a dialogue-heavy film, and it doesn't drag because you're so locked in on what is actually happening. And beyond the concept and the execution being top tier, I think the decision to reveal information at the same time that the child finds out makes for brilliant viewing, as we mirror his befuddled reactions while we both in unison try to piece together what the hell is actually happening. And on the back of that, one of the standout scenes we get in this film is when the son is actually on trial for the first time, and he's impaired vision, so he can't actually see what's going on in front of him. And I think Justine makes such a clever decision to not show us the judge, to not show us the lawyers that are deposing him, and instead, as he hears information, we move with the camera in his point of view. It was fresh, it was clever, and it put a really unique twist on something that had already been done a lot of times, but in such a fantastically different way. And lastly, I did want to mention the performances in this film, led by the incredible Sandra Hüller, are just absolutely fantastic. And this does also have a really good child performance, and also the best animal performance of the decade from Snoop the dog. The execution of this story is brilliant, and the layers of its real life complexities imprinted across the story add so much. It's aging so well, and it will continue to. And my question to you is, do you think she did it, or do you think that she's innocent?
You complain about the life that you chose. You are not a victim. Not at all. Your generosity conceals something dirtier and meaner. You're incapable of facing your ambitions and you resent me for it, but I'm not the one who put you where you are. I've nothing to do with it. You're not sacrificing yourself, as you say. You choose to sit on the sidelines because you're afraid. Because your pride makes your head explode before you can even come up with the little germ of an idea. And now you wake up and you're 40 and you need someone to blame. And you're the one to blame. You're petrified by your own fucking standards. And your fear of failure. This is the truth.
In 13th place, I have Almost Famous by Cameron Crowe. If I could have chosen an alternate universe path and a life for me to follow, I would not have wished to be anyone else other than William Miller, and I'd wish to be him 1,000 times over. Almost Famous was so incredibly formative to me as someone who first saw this as a young teen. Its charm and its chaos and sense of adventure sets you up for one of those cinematic experiences you're always smiling the whole way through, and one that you can go back to time and time and time again throughout your life. And beyond that, its invitation into the 70s rock scene and the ability to make you feel like you were a part of that universe is just so fun. It's so immersive in all the best ways. On top of all of that though, what sets this apart for me from others that have attempted to capture the same feeling in a bottle is Will, our protagonist. He's a blank slate. He's someone that we can instill our own views on, and it invites us to dream and feel like we are him within the narrative. He's also naturally introverted, which isn't always the way they portray the mains in a film like this. And I always come back to my favourite line, in which Russell and Will are engaged in conversation by the poolside. And Russell turns to Will and says, "You're dangerous. Most people are waiting to talk, but you listen." That scene specifically, as well as the scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman is in the phone with him giving him a life lesson near the end, are two of the scenes that I hold on to and that I think about so often, more than a lot of other films in my life, and I love them. And you pair that with the way that the story blends initial dreams into achieved highs and then ultimately drops you back into reality in such a smooth, digestible and natural way, makes for this movie to be one that holds you from start to finish. It's full of charm and ambition. It's such a great story and it's got such great, fantastic rewatch value. And the performances are great from everyone across the board, but especially Frances McDormand as Will's mum, and the ever so mysterious, alluring Penny Lane, played so well by Kate Hudson. What a film.
Oh, man. You made friends with them. See, friendship is the booze they feed you. Is they want you to get drunk and feeling like you belong.
Well, it was fun.
Because they make you feel cool. And hey, I met you. You are not cool.
I know. Even when I thought I was, I knew I wasn't.
Right, because we are uncool. Now, while women will always be a problem for guys like us, most of the great art in the world is about that very problem. Good looking people, they got no spine. Their art never lasts. And they get the girls, but we're smarter.
Yeah, I can really see that now.
Yeah, because great art is about guilt and longing and, love disguised as sex and sex disguised as love. Hey, let's face it. You got a big head start.
I'm glad you were home.
I'm always home. I'm uncool.
Me too.
You're doing great. The only true currency in this bankrupt world is what you share with someone else when you're uncool. So my advice to you, and I know you think these guys are your friends, if you want to be a true friend to them, be honest and unmerciful.
In 12th place, I have Zone of Interest by Jonathan Glazer. Well, talk about switching gears. Whew. Zone of Interest is one of those meticulously crafted yet crushing films, and I think that it encapsulates both of those feelings the best of any that I can think of in this century. I really don't have enough superlatives for Glazer and his team here, and to be honest, I highly recommend you go or watch the video that the Academy released detailing the way this film was made, as it's incredible and it captures everything that I'd want to say about it in such a good way. But beyond exquisite filmmaking, the thing to me that sets this film apart is its ability to paint true horror without using cheap tactics. So many times in this film, you'll see someone do a mundane task and then be horrifically reminded of, oh yeah, that's what's actually happening and that's where we are in time. And I think a great example of that is perfectly encapsulated by one of those moments where Rudolph is outside near his pool having a cigarette. Then all of a sudden the camera pans to the other side and you can see the chimney behind him with flames coming out of it. It's gruesome. Even diving further within to that thought though is the compelling and scary idea that I think that Glazer implements so well, which is within the way that Rudolph and Hedwig, our two main characters, both act. Whilst they operate within Nazi Germany and are so desensitized to the egregious war crimes they are a part of, I can't help but draw parallels between them and some of those within society in politically powerful positions today. And their blatant inward selfish views they have paired with their own blissful ignorance to what they're actually a part of. I think that this is best encapsulated in Hetty's performance when she refuses to relocate, in quotations, because of the life that they've built there. And I also find that this is encapsulated really well when Rudolph shows just how excited he is to find out that he'll be going back to Auschwitz to oversee, essentially, the murder of millions later in the film. Both of these scenes highlight purely their disconnect from reality and their complete consumption of their own evil, selfish desires. It's haunting to watch, but as I said, I can't help but draw parallels to people that we can think of in today's society. Lastly, what I wanted to leave you with is what I think is my favourite part of this film. And ultimately, I think it's what makes it brilliant. And that is that within this, we actually get two films at once. The film you see, visually, by the way that it's done in an ingenious way with Glazer and his crew setting up cameras all over the place. And then the film that you hear, from the eerie, chilling, horrific sounds of everything that's happening without being shown. It's haunting, it's impactful, it's scary all in one.
Das hier ist die Mauer vom Lager.
Ja, das ist die Lagermauer. Also da haben wir auch noch Wein gepflanzt, damit das zuwächst, damit man das nicht mehr so sieht.
Vielleicht ist ja Esther Silbermann dort drüben.
Wer war das nochmal?
Ja, die, für die ich geputzt habe.
In 11th place, I have Lost in Translation by Sofia Coppola. Now, I understand for some that this movie doesn't potentially incite the same excellence that I'm about to detail, but if that's you, indulge me for a moment. Lost in Translation is the best on-screen depiction to me of the pit of existential woe that a lot of us live with. And the brilliance of the way it is crafted is that you will resonate with different parts or characters at different times depending on when you watch it. And a great example of that for me is that as a teen, I was completely connected to Scarlett's character, who is trying to do everything right at the cost of her own personal volition and ambition. Essentially, she's giving up her dreams to do what she thinks is right instead of chasing what she feels is right. And it leads to this bleak despair of wondering, is this what life will always be? And is that all that there is? And then now, as I'm older, it's Bill's character that couldn't ring any louder and truer to me. What is the point of success and riches if it doesn't include the passions that excite you and it doesn't include things that you want to actually do for yourself to keep you happy? Do you continue with it because it's your responsibility? Or ultimately, will it be the catalyst for your depressive demise? With all of that in mind, then what happens so magically is you bring those two characters that are having some remnants of the same feeling together, and it culminates into this incredible relationship that doesn't really meet any conventions when you think about it. They're not from the same age group, they don't really have the same interests, but what they do is they mirror to each other the idea of hope, the idea of actually chasing something that you care about. They represent to each other the freedom to essentially be yourself and be okay with that, even if that journey means that it's going to break conventional norms. And it's that, right there, that introspective philosophy. It's why I love this film so much. It challenges you to reflect, to think, to help yourself understand internally, truly within your heart of hearts, what matters to you and at what cost are you willing to go to make those things matter count. And so yeah, I mean, just beyond it being an incredible think piece, I think obviously Japan as a backdrop is so perfect. It's so stimulating on the senses. It has everything that you would really associate with having an adventure and feeling free. And I really love that about it. I love the performances, and it's just so neatly put together. There's not a second that I wasn't just absolutely enthralled by this film.
What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?
I'm winking at you, gonna make you notice. Gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs, gonna use my style, gonna use my side step, gonna use my fingers, gonna use my imagination. Oh, 'cause I'm gonna make you see nobody else here, no one like me. I'm special, so special. I gotta have some of your attention, give it to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bob Harris.
Thanks. This is hard. I could feel at the time there was no way of knowing. Fallen leaves in the night, who can say where they're blowing? As free as the wind, hopefully learning why the sea on the tide has no way of turning. More than this, you know there's nothing more than this. Tell me one thing more than this. Ooh, there's nothing.
In 10th place, I have Drive by Nicholas Winding Refn. Drive to me is the single action noir-esque thriller that I think about the most to this day. Immediately we are thrust into one of the best first 10-minute sequences of a film this century, as the music pulsates to our raising heartbeats, and the slow meticulous camera reveals our protagonist, followed by a riveting heist sequence that doesn't need words to elevate it in its tension, into the best opening credits we get this century, with Ryan Gosling looking the coolest anyone has ever been night cruising in LA. Whilst Nightcall plays, I've never wanted to be anyone as much as I wanted to be Ryan Gosling driving in that moment. But yeah, aside from my fleeting dreams there, this film is incredibly shot and has some fantastic cinematography. However, the reason that I think Drive is so incredible is within its unique style and restrained nature. It still delivers in such a powerful way without overstaying its welcome. Every choice is so purposely well crafted, and each layer you peel back gives you another learning or another piece of our protagonist and it adds so much complexity and is profound to watch unfold. This is all culminated and encapsulated in what is my favourite moment of this film and why I think I elevated this film so high up my list. Before we land on that moment, let me give you the context behind it. At one point in the film, our protagonist offs the mob boss Nino and then calls the other mob boss Bernie, and he says to him on the phone, "Do you know the tale of the scorpion and the frog? Nino didn't make it across the river." Now we are left to put the pieces together to assume that Nino is the frog in this story. And the story goes like this. A scorpion comes to a riverbed and can't get across and sees a frog. He goes to the frog and says, "Can you take me across the river?" To which the frog hesitates due to the fear of the scorpion stinging it. The scorpion disagrees and says, "Well, if I did that, we would both drown." So the frog agrees to take him across. As the frog swims, with the scorpion on its back, halfway across the river, the scorpion stings the frog and they both go down. As they are dying, the frog asks the scorpion, "Why did you sting me?" To which the scorpion replies, "I couldn't help it. It's just in my nature." And that particular scene is so important because it feels as if the protagonist believes that he is the scorpion for most of the film. But what actually plays out and what we see is that he's the frog. And symbolically throughout the film, every time he puts his scorpion jacket on before heading into conflict, he is putting the scorpion on his back the same way that the frog does crossing the river. And this notion, it never really dawns on our protagonist until one fleeting moment where he's taking away the girl that he loves into the elevator. He thinks that he can still have a life with her until he sees the hitman in the elevator and he realizes at that moment that he is actually the frog that's destined to be stung and drown along with the scorpion. And so in that moment, knowing that he's never going to have the life that he wants with the girl that he cares about so much, he, for once, shows who he truly is. He first embraces her with passion and then moves her aside and takes care of the hitman with pure aggression in a chilling, cold, demonic fashion. And then we are left with him staring at her as she's outside of the elevator, and as the doors close, for the first time in the whole film, we see the protagonist's real emotion and real face and who he is. And that to me is why this film is so nuanced and so brilliant and so intricate. So there you have it, crew. They are the films that I have in 15th through to 10th place. And now, as you'll see on screen, here is my full list from 25 all the way through to 10. I did 6 this episode because I wanted to make room. So next episode I will do 9 through to 5. And then in the last episode I'll do what really to me are the immortal 4 of the 21st century. This has been so much fun to do, and I really appreciate all of your support and all the views that I'm getting from all of you. So I hope you stick around because the last 2 episodes are going to be the 2 best. Anyway, if you haven't already, subscribe. It really helps. And until next time, crew, peace.